Latte, flat white, Americano, cappuccino, macchiato. There are many ways to drink one of the world's most popular beverages.
More than 2 billion cups of coffee are drunk worldwide every day.
But your morning brew has taken a long journey to arrive in your cup. It's grown almost exclusively in the global south and is actually a seed that is dried, roasted and ground to brew coffee.
But the bitter truth is, this hot drink can hide a dark secret.
It's so deeply ingrained into the way of life that it becomes visible only when a laborer tries to break out of it. Harish, once quiet and hard-working, is a broken man today. Until 6 months ago, he worked in the go-down of a local coffee estate owner.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜೈಲ್ ತಿರೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ 10,000 20,000 ಫೈನ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 4,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಸಾಲ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಚಿಕ್ಕಪ್ಪ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಲೇ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 4,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ 1 ವರ್ಷ ಗಂಟೆ ಬೇಕು ಮೇಡಮ್ ತೀರ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ. ತೀರ್ಸಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ನೀನು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರು ನಾನು ಕೊಲ್ತೀನಿ, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಸಾಯ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಎದುರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ನಾನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟುಬಿಟ್ಟೆ.
In 2019, a 6-month investigation by Thomson Reuters Foundation found slavery running largely unchecked in Brazil's billion-dollar coffee industry. And in 2020, child labor in coffee plantations was put under the spotlight when Channel 4 reported children as young as 8 picking beans for suppliers of global coffee chains.
Where I come from in South Asia, coffee is grown extensively and almost 70% of that is exported globally. But even then, there are hundreds of people living in slavery. I have witnessed people living in fear. They're being physically and verbally threatened and violated, and the owners can get away with it.
So how does this happen? How does somebody find themselves in this situation?
In many cases, traffickers source laborers from far away, luring them with promises of a decent job, decent wages, and even better living conditions. They are usually given money upfront, which is called an advance, and that is what tricks them into slavery. That is called bonded labor.
Wow. And can this ever stop?
Yes, it can, but only if traffickers and exploiters are deterred. At IJM, we have seen progress on this, but we need to see more action on the global front. Businesses are also key. They need to be transparent and take steps to prevent exploitation.
Research carried out by ETI in 2017 found that 70% of UK businesses believed that there was a likelihood of slavery occurring at some point in their supply chain. And sadly, any business with a long and complex supply chain is likely to have modern slavery within it if it looks hard enough. But the good news is that more and more businesses are beginning to recognise that. And what ETI wants to see, and what we are beginning to see to some extent, is a switch in attitude from businesses. So where businesses might have said in the past, well, we hope it's not there. What we want them to be saying is we know it's there, we'll do everything we can to find it, provide remedy when we do find it, and take steps to stop it happening in the future.
Some companies are starting to take steps in order to reduce the risk of forced and bonded slavery in their supply chains. We asked one brand what they are doing.
Here at Manumit, we have a threefold approach to ensuring that all of our coffee is slavery-free from crop to cup. Firstly, ethical sourcing. It really matters to us where our coffee comes from, and so we do our best to ensure that there is no exploitation taking place at point of origin and that all farmers are well paid and fairly treated. Secondly, compassionate employment. All of our coffee is roasted, packed and shipped by survivors of modern slavery, and we pay the national living wage. We provide training and coaching and whatever support is needed to help our team to pursue their dreams. And thirdly, strategic investment. we're a not-for-profit business because we believe that people matter more than profit, and we are 100% committed to investing all of our profits in anti-slavery initiatives, both globally and locally. The word Manumit simply means to set free from slavery. Manumit Coffee Roasters was established in 2017 with the sole aim of providing employment to men and women who have endured modern slavery but are now seeking to rebuild their lives. We wanted to create a workplace where we could welcome them in, we could create a culture of grace, a culture of acceptance, a culture of joy, and we could help rebuild confidence and upskill the men and women who work with us.
No one should be enslaved to produce the coffee we drink. We all need to act now.
I want to tell you a story about coffee. A couple of years ago, I got the opportunity to support one of IJM's projects in the Dominican Republic, investigating the trafficking of children on the island. And when I was there, I encountered a young girl that was being trafficked by her mother. And we were able to support local law enforcement in seeing this girl removed from the situation of suffering and exploitation. And when we did, she asked for her blue teddy bear to go with her into this unknown future. As a consequence of this experience, I started a social enterprise called Blue Bear Coffee Company, and we use our profits and our profile to support organisations fighting human trafficking and caring for survivors. We also use the opportunity to trade with coffee farmers across the world and pay them over 100% of the fair trade rate of coffee to ensure they're not vulnerable to exploitation, because we believe it's possible to fight slavery through coffee.
When it comes to buying coffee ethically, I have 3 tips that I would like to share with you. The first one is to source the coffee from a local or independent coffee shop or roaster where you can directly ask questions to the people who you're buying it from, and ask them questions where the coffee comes from, who they're supplying from, and they should be able to give you plenty of information. My second option is if you go into a supermarket or a retailer and you don't have the option to ask questions to anybody, look for the Fair Trade, Organic, or Rainforest Alliance or other certifications that can guarantee that those questions are being asked by someone else and things are being put into place to ensure that farmers' livelihoods are improved and they're paid properly. Might not be perfect, but it's a good next step. And then my third option is always buy coffee that actually has the country of origin somewhere on the label. If it doesn't have that, then it's questionable that the suppliers don't even know where it's coming from themselves. And it's a really easy piece of information to look for that can guarantee that extra bit of traceability. And then should you contact that supplier, they should be able to give you more information if you are interested about where the coffee comes from. So look for local and independent as your first port of call. Secondly, go for a Fair Trade, Rainforest Alliance or certified option. And then thirdly, go for an option which actually states the country of origin on it so that you know where your coffee is coming from.
My top tip for consumer activists are to be informed, stay empowered, and to demand answers. Too often the onus is put on us as consumers to fix a problem that was created by structural inequality and systems that perpetuate today. However, what we don't realise in that is that as consumers, we are voters, and we are able to demand answers behind the background of the goods we buy and use every single day.
I don't know about you, but one of my favourite things in the entire world is coffee. This week, as part of Make Slave Free Normal, we'd like to challenge you to do some digging, detective style. We'd like you to look into the coffee companies that you're using, your favourite brands, and ask, do you know where those beans came from? What steps are being taken to ensure that the coffee farmers earn a decent wage? And what are the coffee companies doing to prevent the worst forms of child labour in their supply chains? We would love you to take action on this issue and write to the coffee brands that you use. We've put together an email template for you here. Let's take action together and encourage widespread change across the coffee industry. Don't forget to tag IJM UK in your social media posts. We can't wait to see what you're doing.
We all have something we can give to this fight for freedom, however big or small. I leave you with this quote that I love from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
I love that quote. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.